I'm here with Jay Adkins, and Jay, first off, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born here in Johnson City, and I went to high school. I grew up in Middle Tennessee, and in 2006, my wife and I moved back to East Tennessee. I currently live in Carter County, up in Stony Creek, and 10 years ago, I was in Iraq serving with the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment of the Tennessee Army National Guard. When I got back, I started my career in manufacturing. So I've been working in manufacturing for the past 10 years, first as a machinist and now as a process engineer.
And why have you decided to run for election?
Well, I saw that we've got the same thing that we've had that's gotten us into the situation we're in now, and that's career politicians. This is the first office I've run for, but the establishment career politicians have made it a habit of begging for our votes and promising results and then not doing anything. And, that's what I am. I'm an engineer, and I do something. I see a problem and I fix it. That's my job. And an example of that is a few weeks ago when I heard that the National Cemetery Administration wasn't going to be allowing the Boy Scouts to do what they've done for years, and that's put out flags at our national cemeteries. I saw that problem, and I said, somebody's got to fix it. While other candidates were just complaining about it, I did something. And I talked with the VA. I found out their rules, how they wanted things to go on Memorial Day weekend, and I got 18,000 flags, and we got volunteers. We came out and we got flags on all of those graves. So I feel like the district needs someone who's action and not words. President Trump said we need to drain the swamp. So I think what we need to do is flush it out with fresh water and not just export Tennessee swamp water to D.C.
And what do you think is the biggest issue facing our country currently?
Well, right now is a kind of a wild time to ask that question. 2020's had a lot of issues that are facing our country, and a lot of while we were dealing with the pandemic and now we're dealing with civil unrest throughout the country, I think what has caused all of this to be amplified is division. Our country has become so polarized that we can't have open discussions. We can't talk about the issues. We can't talk about actual solutions because we've been pushed into our respective corners. So I think polarization and lack of dialogue and earnest attempts to fix a problem rather than just focusing on an R or a D next to somebody's name, I think that's the biggest thing that's hurting our country right now.
And what do you think is the biggest issue facing Tennessee, just narrowing it down a little bit?
In Tennessee, we've got, especially here in East Tennessee, in the district, we're going to be hit hard by this recession and the problems that come with that come with high unemployment, because I believe that the reaction to this pandemic is going to drive us into economic hardships. And I think the fact that we don't have as strong as an economy here as we could is hurting us. And that's why even before the pandemic, this was an issue, and this leads to things such as suicide, higher rates of drug abuse and that kind of thing. And that's why what I want to do, and what I think is the best solution for that problem that's been exacerbated by the pandemic, is to develop a highly skilled workforce. I want to do things to bring up our skilled trades. Again, I work as a machinist, so I see that we don't have as many people learning skilled trades and being able to develop a highly skilled workforce. Because what other people may say is, well, the government's going to bring jobs. The government doesn't create jobs. The private industry does, and the private industry isn't going to come to a place where they can't get a lot of highly skilled workers, and that's what I want to develop here in East Tennessee.
Now, you alluded to it a little bit, but what are your plans if you are elected, if any?
Well, I've got quite a few things, and part of it's going to depend on how the election turns out. Because if we don't have Republican control of the House, I'm not going to be able to institute, pro-gun measures that I'd like to do. I'm a pro-gun candidate. I'm a pro-life candidate. And I know everyone says that, everyone checks that box, but I'm actually, I'm pro-life. I am a foster parent, and I want to do things. If Republicans have control of the House, I'd like to do things to help make foster care easier on foster parents, help make adoption more affordable, and completely defund Planned Parenthood. But if Republicans don't have control of the House, I believe I can reach across the aisle. And something that a lot of people aren't talking about, but that is important to me, is criminal justice reform. I believe that we need to properly punish crimes. I think we need to punish the crimes strongly. We need to have strong law and order. But at the same time, not every crime needs to be a life sentence. And I think we need to do things to allow people to get back into society and have good jobs, be able to find good work after they've paid their debt to society. And when they come out, when they've served their time, when they've paid their fines, they should be full citizens and they should have all their rights restored.
And is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Well, I would say if you want more information about me or you want to contact me, go to my Facebook, J. Adkins for Congress, my website, jadkinsforcongress.com. Feel free to reach out to us. I want to, anybody, I want to be available and accessible as a candidate and as a representative. So if anybody wants to reach out to me and has any more questions, please feel free to do so.
Well, I want to thank Jay Adkins for joining us today.